from our graveyard. We get that second land. Absolutely love it. We gain 2 life in the process as well, and then we'll push up the Stonebinder's Familiar because it's our turn. And yeah. Hello, good game. Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having a magical day. Thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. We're back in standard best of 1 with a Bant blue, white, and green spirit tribal deck. It performs better than I would have ever guessed, and just having some fun within standard, focusing around new decks, not getting drugged down with the competitiveness of the meta, just doing our best to have some fun. So make sure to like the video to show your support, subscribe to the channel for more great content just like this. And in today's video, we're going to showcase the deck list, talk about the strategies, the synergies, demonstrate this in the gameplay footage, and then wrap up with our final thoughts, deck review, and card of the day. So let's take a look at the deck. All right, Bant Skywalkers is the name of the game. Like I said, we're in standard best of 1 today. This is a 60 card deck with a 2.0 average mana value, 24 creatures to our 12 non-creatures, 24 land in build as well. Pretty standard stuff. Get it? Spirits, right? We have a ton of them in the build. The Stonebinder's Familiar is a spirit. The Willowgeist is a spirit. These are our primary spirits that we're looking to focus on to get into play early. Both of them will grow when we are exiling things from our grave, which is really cool. Casting things, with Disturbed, doing just that, right? And Flashback. The Willowgeist is a 1/1 with Trample, and whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on the Willowgeist. When it dies, you gain life equal to its power, right? So whenever we're casting something from our grave, it's going to leave our grave, and we do have other effects to manually pull from our grave here as well. The Stonebinder's Familiar for 1, a 1/1, and whenever one or more cards are put into exile during your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on the Stonebinder Familiar. This ability triggering only once each turn, which is kind of sad, and that's really where the Geist gets the nod over the Familiar, because you can trigger it multiple times per turn. With that being said, we're pushing up these spirits with the ability, interacting with our graveyard, putting things to exile, so forth. We also have the Patrician Geist as the Lord. 3 mana, 2/2 with flying. Other spirits you control get +1/+1. Spells you cast from your graveyard will now cost 1 less to cast, which is fairly decent because we're combining the spirits with Disturb, with Flashback to really get the most out of the deck, right? These are really good synergies that are tightly knit. So the Flashback in the build, right? We have Return to Earth, Flashback for 2, instant speed, originally casting it for 1, and if we do have that Patrician, we're casting it for 1 from the grave, as well as the the Flashback will be reduced. Choose up to 3 target cards in your graveyard. Its owner of those cards will shuffle them into their library, and you gain 2 life, right? So this is a great way to trigger the Willowgeist at instant speed, which is great, and maybe even grab the Stonebinder Familiar, the Willowgeist, the Patrician's Geist from your grave back into the library, right? That's going to be your go-to plan, because there are a few spirits in the build that don't have Disturb. The Familiar, the Willow, and the Patrician are those spirits, and they are our highest value spirits, so we can bring them back into the fold with Turn the Earth. And yeah, so we also have Disturb, Lunarch Veteran into the Luminous Phantom. The Phantom is a cleric. The Veteran is only a human, which is kind of sad, but it's got the Disturb, so we can get it out there. It's going to trigger the Geist, it's going to trigger the Familiar. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life, which is great. And then as the Phantom, whenever it leaves the battlefield under our control, we're going to gain 1 life as well. So entering the battlefield, leaving the battlefield, gaining life for that sustainability, which is really nice. Moving on, we have the Devoted Graft Keeper for 2. This is a 2/1, and when it enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards, right? That's going to put some stuff in our graveyard for us. We're going to have access to the Disturb. We're going to have access to the Flashback as soon as it hit grave. Whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, tap a target creature you don't control. Now, this is actually one of the most important synergies of the deck. Not only do we look to grow our spirits in strength, but we also lock out our opponent's field, tapping everything they have. Disturb for 3. Bringing in the Soul Keeper. This is a 3/1 with flying. It can only block other creatures with flying, right? So just a nice aggro creature. Moving on, we have finally the Mirhall Mimic as our last spirit. It's a 0/0 for 4, and it enters the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, whether it's yours or your opponent's, and it will be a spirit in addition to its other types. Primarily, we're copying the Patrician Geist, right? That +1/+1 on the spirits, reducing the costs from our graveyard, right? That's going to be most effective for us. We can recast it from the grave for 5 via the Disturbed to enchant a creature, and at the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted creature, except it's a spirit in addition to its other type. So, we're going to get multiple copies every single upkeep. Really cool, non-legendary. You can stack this card. The final card in the build that we should mention is the Winterhorn Blessing for 2 mana, flashback for 3. Sorcery speed, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control, i.e. the Willow Geist. As it dies, you'll gain life, and it has trample, right? Tap up to 1 target creature you don't control. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step, right? So you can lock out their creatures by casting things from the grave via the Graft Keeper. Very, very good for the tap. And then not only tap this turn, but tap next turn as well through the Winterhorn Blessing. Again, this can be cast from the grave, and it's going to grow our creatures. It's going to lock down our opponent's field, which is really, really cool. Lastly, no flashback here, no disturbed here, but very nice synergy within the build. Quandrix Command, instant speed for 3, choose 2. Return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand, right? Just get out of here. If they're going to deal with something of ours, removal-wise, we can even bounce our own back to safety. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. That's fairly important right now, let's be honest. And you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Keep in mind that this can stack on the Geist with target player shuffles 3 target cards from their graveyard to the library, right? So all at instant speed, we can put 2 counters on the Geist, surprising our opponent through the combat phase, and we can put an additional counter on each Geist through the bringing our cards back into the library from the grave, right? Which is really cool. So through Turn the Earth being instant speed and Quandrix Command being instant speed, the Willow Geist really is here to surprise your opponents, and the trample, make sure that you can get the most out of everything as well. So, just land is here for consistency, right? We've got the pathways, we've got the dual lands, 3 basics in case we have to search for one of them, and just having fun with a lesser played deck in the meta. I do think that it's fairly competitive, but at the end of the day, it's not Is It Turns, right? It's not mono white aggro, but hey, it's a lot of fun, and that's just what we want to do sometimes in the game, is have some fun with an original deck. And if you're looking to do just that and you've got the wild cards, check it out, because it's a good time, right? Thank you all so much for watching the deck tech portion of this video. We'll jump into the gameplay footage now, but before we do, I have to urge you to subscribe to the channel. It really does help. You can also like the video if you want, and yeah. Going first with, again, a bit of a slow hand here, but whatever. We'll get there. It's good enough. It's good enough to get us going. That's turn. Right? Willow Geist on 2. Graft Keeper on 3, 4, and 5, apparently. Watch us mill all of our land, but that's not too bad, right? We can turn the land back to our library if we need. Painter out makes the treasure. When a creature enters play on top with a treasure spent as the mana, it will enter with an additional +1/+1 counter for each treasure spent. So that Painter's really cool. It looks like they may spend the treasure to remove the Geist, though. Yikes. No land. So sad. Let's get a little mill skis going on here. It's still no land. Well, I'm glad we milled. That would have been an additional 2 turns without land. Could you imagine? Not good. Shambling Ghast. Not being used as the treasures. They sack the gas to make the treasure. Also killing the Graft Keeper or the Geist. The Geist is best to kill at this point if they're using the Ghast to do it, as it grows, right? So it can only really kill it now before it grows. As soon as we play this Lunark, it does grow. So draw 2 cards, make a treasure, -1 on the Geist. We gain 1 life. It happens, right? Heyo, there's the land. There's our land. Let's get that blue source in. I'm worried about removal they may have still. Let's Graft Keeper, then turn the Earth, that Willow back to hand. Ooh, 2 lands. That might not be great. For 2. They don't want to lose the Painter. I doubt that this is a trade. And turn. We're going to take that Geist and the Binder back. We could take a land if we want. We should probably leave it there, though, to empty the graveyard with later, right? It's always nice to have a target to remove from our grave for the Geist. Or the Willow, I should say. Which Geist does he mean? 2 snow permanents tapped. There's the 3rd snow. Here's a Skullport, which makes a treasure, right? So they've got 3 treasures, 1 land available. This could be like 7/7, or sorry, 6/6 Emmerstrom. So that's great. Right, that's pretty good. Do they hit for 1? No, you're not brave enough. They want to keep it as a sacrifice. Grab those creatures back. We gain 2 life. We shuffle them right in. The lands. Loving the land. So we need to keep up this command. We can really only play for 1. Doesn't matter what we do. Just pass turn. We bounce the Emmerstrom before it attacks. Right, we don't want to lose a creature as it taps. However, it could tap instant speed to do so. See how this pans out. They may tap it and take the Lunarch. I don't know. No, they just take the bounce. So at least, you know, it's going to be a 3/3 as it re-enters, not a 6/6. Okay. I really wish we had some more land. So let's swing in with the Graft Keeper. Try and force the sacrifice on the Predator. Do it. Do it. And before it taps to exile us, we return it. They could have tapped it manually. Doing our best to navigate this matchup. It's not great. Oh, here's a Goldspan Dragon. Emphasis on it's not great. Here's a treasure. There are 3 available mana. Tap the Merchant. I need to, like, permanently tap some of these things. You know what I mean? Graft Keeper out. Do the mill. Hit for 8. Down to 10. Still hold some value. I'm a little nervous. Okay, here's a Painter for another oh gosh. Oh my lord, this is gonna be bad. They attack, make another treasure, and then it's in as a 6/6 again. Yikes. Well, they go for it now. They cube the Graft Keeper. We gain 1 life from its leaving the battlefield. I mean, that's not going to make a difference, but hey, let's pretend it does. So now we're not tapping as many of their creatures when we're casting from the grave, and they got a nice field here. That's a 5/5. They got a 6/5, 4/4, right? We're in trouble. We are in trouble! If for 4, they make a treasure in which, you know, they can draw off of, so that's not great. If we had the 3 Graft Keepers in play, we might win, honestly. Playing from the grave, tapping, tapping. They get the counter, and they're allowed to exile here. I'm going to cast it. Grabbing our 2 commands. And then we're tapping. And we're tapping. It's not enough, but, like, we're friggin' close, Randy. If that cube didn't enter play to take our other Graft Keeper, we would have had lethal without a doubt. Easily. We have 17 life, and they're hitting for 11, 15, 16, 17 with the land, up to 20. It's standard, so 21. Let's progress with some form of caution. Merchant can sack the treasure if it wants. Decent hit. Down to 4. Now this is where it gets weird. Very weird here. They only need to deal 17 damage, but they only have 4 life. Oh, that is good. That is good. Making a treasure, drawing 2 cards. Eye Twitch is a fantastic blocker. They sack the Twitch. Oh no. They have 7 mana, so it's a mascot exhibition. Dang, that's 3 additional blockers. That's too many things to tap. That's too many things to tap. Okay, a summoning is even, you know, good enough. Right, that life gain is fairly nice, and they can access it immediately through the Merchant or Predator. Right, that's pretty good. So they're wiggling through. They're doing the do. That's a Skull Karn, which can deal 3 damage to us. So we have to be mindful of that also. I'm going to take the land that they're trying to take now to get this into our exiled zone. And we're getting hits, not for lethal, so we take it. Down to 4. They tie up the game. 2 cards in their hand. They have Merchant available for a draw and life gain as well. Yikes. Let's see if they get it. Right, here comes the sacrifice. They're up to 5. Keep in mind, this is one of their blockers, though. Looking for removal. They have 3 available mana. Play a painter, makes a treasure. Okay, that's not bad. Right, just kind of cycling through. Replacing the blocker that they lost. You can only tap 2 things. They have 3. Kind of sucks. And then we're just going to get hit for lethal. Close. It was pretty close. It's in fact very close. If only we had flying. Man, this cube saved them, taking that third graft keeper. Wait, we have lethal here, don't we? No, because they have 5 life. And they can go up even further to 6. And we're only dealing... No, we do 6 damage, though. Is this lethal? Question mark? Like, they block the 4/3 with the painter. They go up to 6 life, and then we still hit for 6. Did we navigate this? They have 2 mana available from treasures in hand. No way. We get it. That spirits. Nice. Holy Toledo. I can't believe we got the win. Nice. Going first, land looks nice. The hand is, you know, actually pretty good too. Let's get that Willowgeist into play as soon as possible. Oh, glad that came in as the right copy there. Let's get that veteran in play. Hit for 1. Innkeeper, that's alright. Helps them ramp, it's a life gain engine. Grab another life. Play our blue source. I don't mind trading with the Innkeeper if we can. Decent. Another Innkeeper, so that's actually a lot of life gain. Ramping nicely also. Oh, that's a good card. Back up to 20. I doubt there's a hit. Really? No blocks. I mean, we could grab it back, but eh. Should we just make a copy of that pack leader? Serious question, right? think it would be ideal, but let's hold on to it. Do the mill. Ooh, lands. Actually not that bad, I guess. No attacks. End turn. Hey, we could push up the Geist and double block. Should block with the Veteran and the Gatekeeper most likely, right? Keep the Geist and the Familiar in play. Sculptor's good. Getting so much life. I'd kill the Pack Leader. Could have stuff in hand though, right? Blizzard Roll, Inscription of Abundance. Okay, they're tapped. Nice. I doubt they attack here though. Oh wait. Yup. We take that trade every day of the week. I think we leave these here and we just take the land. I know that seems silly, but yeah. Just to push up the guys, right? Push up the Geist again with the Soul Keeper. And then one more time with the Phantom. It's pretty good, right? A 4/4. You know, are they going to trade with that? It's, like, unlikely, I'd say. So we get them back down to 20. Oh, no. Ren and 7 makes a 4/4. Gains 2 life. Let's go. We don't really have blockers. That is helpful. Now that is helpful. We need to kill Ren and 7. We can push up to 6. We do also have the Tramp Skis. So there's a block for 4, there's a block for 5. Nice. They can see that we have this as well. So from our graveyard, we get that second land. Absolutely love it. We gain 2 life in the process as well, and then we'll push up the Stonebinder's Familiar because it's our turn. And yeah. Dealing with Ren still, no problem.
Overrun.
Painter's Glass is good. The ability to grow in strength with a 3rd Innkeeper too, nice. They're still at 24 life, and I feel like we've been bashing them. Right? That Ranger's Class is deadly. I don't think they attack into the 3/3. We mimic the Geist. Block with the Dog Skis. Land out, mimic on the Patrician. Pushes up the team. Let's go. It's a lot of damage. Attacks per second. Yeah, not good. Definitely not good. I don't think it represents lethal, though. It's close. 9, 17, 20, 23. Holy Toledo's. Down to 1. That's all you need, right? Sculptor of Winter. That's not going to get the job done. You gain life. Vandal is fine. They can exile from the grave to slay an enchantment or artifact, in which we do not have. They hit for 3. We take it on the chin. We hit for lethal in the air with flyers. A land. Boo! Yo, that was a really good game. Enjoying this deck as well, right? On the draw, land is nice. But this is a... Wow, cancel. That's our only green source. Hedgegate can be our white source. We're not going to get this Devoted Graphkeeper out on turn 2. It is what it is, unless we top... Oh! Just like that. Easy peasy. Never didn't have it. Except for 1. Probably just have this countered. No, it's in. Mill 2. Both lands out of the way. That's actually not that bad. Discard 2 cards, hey? I mean, there's flashback on both of them. We lose our graveyard, though, to exile, which is fairly good, and, you know, I don't want to lose the land, right? The Graphkeeper is still human. It's not spirit until it comes back with Disturb. Fourth land. Soul Shatter on our Geist. Yikes. And then a Spikefield Hazard on the Graphkeeper. They are going to town. Holy Toledos. Alright, let's graft it up. Gaining access to a Luminous Phantom. Hitting for 1. Expressive Iteration's not the worst. It's definitely not good, but as long as it's not a Cinderclasm, right? As long as it's not a Cinderclasm. So they're looking at the top 3 with Expressive Iteration. 1 goes to their hand. 1 goes into exile to play for the turn, which is typically the land. Nice. And the other goes to their library. Just take the hit. In turn, maybe they play something that they expect to block. Another Expressive Iteration. Yikes. The good thing about Expressive Iteration for us is that it's spending mana that didn't deal with our field state. Bad news is it gives them access to 3 cards that probably, you know, do. Take our hit. Stonebinder out and turn. Four cards in their hand, 3 cards after the land. There is the Disciple. Now they have the Spikefield Hazard. This is exiling the Graphkeeper, so we can't replay it. Very bad news. We do gain 1 life, though. We don't have a second green source, which is unpleasant. We're gonna have to... Yeah. Ooh, we're losing our graveyard. Ooh, we're losing our graveyard. Actually, cancel. We want it on the flyer. Four. Down to 2. This is close. The Soul Shatter can kill the Phantom. We're close. Very, very close. They use Expressive. Wow. They need to pull a land here, right? They still need access to 6 because they have to Soul Shatter the Phantom and then also go blank our Winterhorn away. They get the land, so, you know, ball's definitely in their court. We're in trouble. They know what they have to do. They see all of the information that we see. And for some reason, they choose to cast another Expressive Iteration. They've played a land for the turn, so that's not entering. They only have 4 available mana. It's a meat hook for 2. Boy, oh boy, does that get the job done. And they start gaining life. this is not great. And they just have the forced sacrifice. I think this might be game. That Meatook saved them, for sure. So we lose our Willowgeist. We gain 1 life here. Directly feeding them a life as well. And then they siphon Insight from our library. That's a BM. Playing our own Willowgeist, nice. And that's actually really good synergistically with their own deck because they're casting from the grave with Lear, right? Good game. We're done. And a go blank is going to finish us off, right? Take what availability within value we did have. Down. Alright, opponent goes first. We are on the draw. Like the land, right? This is very good. Veteran. Familiar and Geist all ready to rip here. We have I shouldn't call them the Geists when there's more than one in deck. The Patrician and the Willow. Exile on the Veteran. Interesting. Deep Web Elemental. That's actually a pretty cool name, I'm not gonna lie. Right, I like that. So green source in play here. Familiar out. Gain life. Geist out. Gain another life. I will attack for 1. There's no way they block. I doubt it. It could. But, again, unlikely. So we get that 1 damage, and that's nice. Skyclave on the Willow. Interesting choice. That actually kind of gets us, doesn't it? No blocks here. Hit for 4, down to 18. Land out. It's Geist. I mean, Turn the Earth's not really doing what we want it to. No attacks. Do they exile again to push up those familiars? That would be pretty BM of them. Usher. Battlefield Raptor. Okay. I block with the Illuminarch, believe it or not. It comes back as a spirit. Right now it's a human. And we don't really care for that. We cast it for 1 from the grave, which is pretty cool. Let's get after it. Farmland. For Graft Keeper. Mimic. Now that is interesting. We don't have the Willow, so we don't want to juke out. No attacks. We're chilling and turn. If we can Mimic on the Patrician, that will be best. Sun Gold is pretty cool. Forcing the exile, and I'm going to disallow that. Shuffling it back in. Right, I'm going to shuffle the land too. Just so they don't get access to it. Of course, Turn the Earth is now accessible to them. We keep these Stonebinders down. In all honesty, it's like... it's not great. We should go for it. Right? Let's leave the Stonebinder up, because it'll grow here. Right? We can recast the graph. This goes into exile. Oh, it's their turn. Never mind. That's fine, though. Luminarch out. Graft Keeper active as the Soul Keeper now. The 4-2. Gain life here. Oh, this can be a blue source. Seems we have plenty of white. And maybe I just start swinging in with the flyer. Down to 17. We're keeping pace. Oh, that is good. That is good. Yikes. Yikes. Okay. So I'm going to submit 0. Just to gain the life. And this isn't great, right? Double block the Skyclave. We can slowly work through everything, you know. We're only getting a 1-1, which isn't great, but we retain access to the Lunarch, which is good. That's going to push up the Willowgeist for us. Swing in for 6. It's the life gain from that intrepid adversary. Oh! That's giving me the heebie-jeebies. And with 2 of those, you know, how do they lose? Right? We do get our Willowgeist pushed up there. That's nice. Oh, shoot. We take care of the Intrepid. It's a big hit, right? Down to 2. I guess the Sun Gold has unblockable with Coven. Which they do have access. No, they don't. They only have... No, they do. 2, 3, and 4. But we're in trouble here. Right? This isn't really the card we need. And it doesn't look like we're going to get it. And it looks like they could just hit us with unblockable. Take our swing on the way out. Salute, my friend. That's a pretty good match. And I think we did fairly well against them on a white deck, in all honesty. Opponent goes first. I think I'm going to mulligan. These blessings don't do much in hand without a green source. Here's all of our colors. Blessing can go. This can be our blue source here, right? So we can just get these Geists in play. Playing a little slower than we'd like, but it happens. I'm going to land first in case it's a Wari. Geist out, hit for 1. Cloudkin Seer, draw a card on entry. It's a 2-1, not really too threatening. Let's keep assembling our field before we tap their creatures. Oh, familiar, that's no good. I don't know if they trade here. I think they just take it. Nice. That 4th land in play. Hit for 2 down to 18. So they're tapped now, which is great. Water Knot. Get tapped and do not untap. LOL. So that's alright. I mean, definitely not bad, but... You know. Probably not the greatest either. I just like the Willowgeist. I'm going to hit for 2. Keeping pace. They have a nice hand of cards here. Another Water Knot. You dog. This is a second blue source. I can bounce it back to my hand though, right? Like, so let's do that on, well, no. We want to do that here, don't we? Bounce to our hand, shuffle back in. Bounce to our hand, shuffle back in. We take the familiar. Then that's going to push up both Geist. They may have a counterspell here. No, we're good, we're good, we're good. Then we can hit for 4. Picking up the pace a little bit. Getting that other Geist back in play. There's 6 land, 4 cards in hand. Hit for 2 to 14. Riddlemaster Sphinx. Back to our hand. So Geist out. Winterhorn. Their Sphinx for 4. And then if we draw another land here, we should have lethal. Maybe. They could have interaction still, right? Another Cloud Conceer. Drawing a card. 3 blockers now. Another land out. 3 cards in hand. Hit for 2 to 12. We get that land. We cast from the grave, which triggers the Graft Keeper, which is pretty cool. So if they had another blocker out, we'd be able to tap that as well. Ooh, Hexproof. Maybe let's just bounce that before it gets Hexproof. Right, let's bounce this, shuffle back the command. That's going to give us 3 +1/+1s on the Geist. And then we get a big hit for lethal, right? Okay, okay. A 5/5, a 4/4, and a 3/3. Will Geist in play, getting dirty. Opponent goes first on the draw. A couple of really nice cards here to start out with. And we could play on curve as well. Oh, interesting. So it's definitely a green source first. This will be our white source. This is a blue source. All right, we have 2 Geists. We're missing the life gain on 1, but this way it allows us to double play them. Bard's class. Uh-oh. So here's a white source. Veteran in first. Another Geist out. Gain a life. Hit for 1. Let's go! We're going to push into Bard's class. And they could play a Demon. Nothing else? Okay. I mean, it's not great, but... The blue source out. Let's tap it. Or sorry, push up our Geist. Tap their Knoll. Hit 4. It doesn't untap, so we're not really worried about it. Arlen in the house. Holy Toledo's. Arlen for 2 mana. Make 2 2/2 wolves. That's incredible. And another Knoll. Holy Toledo's. They're playing heaters. They keep the new one. It's a legendary, right? So they only get 1 of them. And, you know, this one's better than that one, apparently. Sometimes I like to keep that other Knoll in hand to draw later on off the level 3 Rangers class. No attacks here. You know, the thing is, we're not tapping 3 creatures, right? So let's get this Stonebinder out. Grab life. This should be a green source or a blue source. Doesn't matter. Still think we just go for it. Tap the Knoll again. Push up both Geist. That pushes up the Familiar. Do we get the kill on Arlen, or do we keep waiting? It's pretty hard because they're going to get Flash, right? No attacks. Let's chill, right? I don't think us overextending just to kill that Planeswalker is worth it. However, this is kind of scary, right? They get to pass turn cast with Flash. It enters with +1/+1 counter on it. And they're on 5 mana here with the reduction of the Bard's class. And if it's a legendary, it'll have an additional counter on it here, right? Really our best bet. Grab some life. You know, it is what it is. No attacks. And here comes down the Flash on our end step with the Ice Shaper. That's a 4/6. And here's another Demon Knoll. And they're going to keep this new one because it's a 4/4 rather than a 2/2. They do draw, and, you know, maybe they run out of cards because they're casting these Knolls, which act as draws with that level 3. The Ice Shaper's really cool, though. This is able to tap for 3, create a colorless snow artifact named Icy Manalith, and you can tap that to add a color of any mana. Holy Toledo's. Helena and Alina out. Luckily, this World Shaper cannot be cast. But Helena and Alina is good, so we're not really going to get through with combat damage anymore. Even the 7/7 is pretty beefy. You can block that. Familiar. We don't need the life gain as much as we need increased strength and toughness on all of our creatures. Pushing the team up a little bit here. Sadly, you know, we just don't have anything, right? They've got nice defenders, and Helena and Alina is going to propel them through the rest of the match. You get to see the deck work, though. Woof. That's aggressive. That's a lot of attackers. That is a ton of attackers. Okay. Phantom goes into exile, pushes up the familiars. Not great. Taking 6. Oh, during our turn. Never mind. This is not going to get us there. I think we could probably just say good game to them. Move on. Holy Toledo's. Bant Skywalkers. An original deck, an easy way to have fun within Magic that maybe you've not had the chance to do recently within the meta. I know I've been distracted with Alchemy, but I am wholeheartedly returning to Standard while we wait for Kamigawa. I think I've done almost all I can do in Alchemy, For now, of course, standard cards come out on February 12th for Kamigawa, Neon Dynasty, and then we have an entire month of solid standard content until the next Alchemy release, at which point I think we'll kind of dip our toes in again. If you're curious as to where we're going in the future, the deck slaps. What do you guys think belongs in the deck? I was kind of thinking of maybe Homestead Courage, as it can push up the Willowgeist and it's going to exile itself right away. So I think that should definitely go in the deck. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, and as a group, can we think of anything else that would help make this deck a little bit more competitive? Now, slacking out on today's card of the day, I don't have the camera set up, but boom, let's try to focus this in there. Come on, camera. Do it nice and easy. Oh, we got it. Guild. BEA. Beautiful. Exile target creature. Put a colorless artifact token named Gold onto the battlefield. It has sacrificed this artifact, and you may add 1 mana of any color to your pool, right? So that's a sorcery speed removal for 4. It's not that good. I know. But it's all right. Making the ramp is fairly decent as well if you're looking to cast some bigger creatures later on. Not a very expensive card, right? 10 cents here. If we get a really nice foiled copy, in which we do have, we're talking about 71 cents. Rolling dirty. And this is from Born of the Gods. That's one of the original Theros blocks, which was a lot of fun. Rarity, rated R, and just a fun card, right? So going through our collection, 1 card at a time to showcase for you guys. And if you have any suggestions, leave those in the comments below. We'd be happy to showcase really whatever card, because we've got piles of them to go through. So let me know as well if you like the deck. Comment below, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Try to help put some food on my table. And most importantly, have a magical day, you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon in the next